I'm a sucker for purple. This looks really, really nice.
I really like it.
So this is the new iPad Air.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Okay.
What are we looking at?
So the new iPad Air has one giant update, which is basically what you need to know, which is that it has the M1 processor on it.
That's the same processor as a MacBook Pro, MacBook Air, Mac Mini,
MacBook Pro 13. MacBook 13,
yes, that's right.
MacBook Air Mini,
as well as the
iPad Pros, right? This is not underclocked in any way. It has all the power necessary. I personally think that it's really nice that they're offering so much power on tablets because while the Android tablet ecosystem or even the surfaces of the world haven't caught up to that level where it's always, oh, you have a tablet, so you have to sacrifice. iPad is going the other way, which is like, no, just because you have a tablet doesn't mean you need to sacrifice.
No compromise, it's just, this is it.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got the power of the Pro, it's the iPad Air, so it's cheaper.
Okay, define cheaper? Like, what's the pricing for it? It's $2,699.
Okay, fair.
2,600 dirhams.
Fair. So it's $2,699 to start with. I think that's an okay price. But as you go up in the storage, which we'll come to a little later, it does get a bit complicated. But at $2,699 for what is a small storage of 64 GB, you can get the power of M1.
$2,600 is on the pricier side. Look, I mean, you can get tablets that are slightly cheaper, iPad included, but then I guess you're paying for the premium.
So I think what they're trying to do here is create this middle segment where if you look at a regular iPad and you're like, okay, this, I might need more. And you look at iPad Pro and you're like, okay, this is too much. I think this is where it falls in between. So the screen is good, but it's not ProMotion. You don't have the triple cameras on the back. Things like that, but on the overall, you get great battery life, you get absolutely fantastic power. I mean, even if I talk about Lumafusion, which is my favorite editing app, it is blazing fast. I mean, this is we're just scrolling through 4K footage. There's no stuttering, nothing. Adding footage in is super easy, and I'm pretty sure if I click on render time right now at full 4K, it's barely.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's perfect. It'll not lag at all, and I think that's what you're getting over here.
So define what separates a pro from a non-pro user, right? I mean, you're using a video editing app on this and it is crazy fast over here. You can easily do this over here. Gaming, I'm assuming, also is something that is crazy fast over here.
Yeah.
So the lines between someone who's a pro and a non-pro are blurring very much.
They very much are, and I'm not exactly sure where Apple wants to go with this at some point. But I think that the main thing I notice instantaneously as someone who uses the Pro is the display.
Gotcha.
That's the first thing that comes up. Now,
so you mentioned there's no ProMotion on this.
No ProMotion, no 120 Hz, which is noticeable. The triple camera on the back. Now, it might not be a factor for a lot of people. For someone who uses an iPad, like to record a video like this, for someone who uses an iPad, it could have it. The advantage on this one is that if you're using the front camera, you now have center stage.
Right.
So that advantage comes up on this, which I'm guessing the pros will get in time. But for now, that's your advantage on this.
That's two things right there.
Yeah, and I would say two major things.
Okay.
Apart from that, you've got Type-C. You've got.
So this is Type-C, not Thunderbolt.
Not Thunderbolt.
So
that's another thing. Where that being said, I'm not sure. Because M1 allows Thunderbolt, so I'm not sure if that's something that they've blocked or...
No, I think, well, that's true. That's true, because this is USB-C, technically speaking.
It should be, but it's something we'll add on top here, so just keep an eye out for that. But yeah, on the overall...
Face ID versus Touch ID, because this has Touch ID.
Okay, so yes, so this has Touch ID. Again, as a person whose almost every device has Face ID, I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I have to touch this.
Exactly.
But Touch ID is good, it works fast. It gives you all of it, and a very funny thing that they've done is that the iPad Mini had the orientation volume buttons, right? So that's got this as well.
Oh, nice.
So as you turn it around, the volume, so this becomes low, this becomes high, and if you turn it around, this becomes high, this becomes low. So that's something that I think really works out over here. And it's a nice little feature to have.
Okay.
But
so what else do we have?
Okay, so next up we've got 5G.
Okay.
Now, I don't know a lot of people who have a SIM card in their tablets, but it's just good to have. Now, I use Sister SIMs. So I have a sister SIM for my actual SIM card. So I would just pop it in here, have 5G, out and about on the move. It's great to have. Unfortunately, not a big deal for us here in the UAE because we don't have FaceTime.
That's true.
But if you had FaceTime, having 5G would be a massive up.
That is true.
That being said, and the next thing for 5G is gaming.
We don't have FaceTime, but we do have. Hello? Hi. How's it going? You're going to see a couple of people with that. I don't get it, but
it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. But the other thing is gaming.
Okay.
If you're really buying the device for gaming, to have 5G, definitely a massive plus point.
So here's a question for you. Now, I mean, when it comes to gaming, this has a larger screen than the Mini that was released by Apple just a few months ago, right?
Right.
From a screen perspective, yes, that's a smaller screen, but that's got a very nice processor on it as well. It's got the A15.
Correct.
Sure, the M1 is faster.
Right.
But for a gaming device, would you prefer something larger or something smaller?
So, very funny you asked. So, yesterday I did exactly that. I played Asphalt 8 on both devices. The handhold was way better on the iPad mini, for sure. But the overall experience of a larger screen was nice, but listen, man, honestly, fatigue kicks in as soon as it's a heavier device. It kicked in as soon as it allowed it.
Makes sense. So who's this for? Like, who would you define this iPad for?
I would ideally say anyone in the starting phase of that part. So, students starting out, great for notes. I mean, look at this little note I've made. Really nice, clean, easy to understand.
And it supports Apple Pencil.
And it supports the second generation Apple Pencil. Creatives, again, same thing. I know creatives who have openly said, for my sketching of my artwork, I don't need a Pro. Okay, but now you've got this in between, so you can do it well, you can render it properly, but you don't have to spend on a Pro. As far as professionals are concerned, I would think most of them would go for the Pro, but again, this is a budget conversation. If they don't need a device which has 1 terabyte of storage, but they need the M1 power.
Fair enough, but then let's have that discussion.
Right.
I mean, the Pro is 600 dirhams off more
Correct.
than this.
Correct.
And for that, you're getting more storage. We mentioned that you're getting better cameras,
Correct.
you're getting Face ID, better screen. What else is there? It's got the same processor on there. You've got a Thunderbolt port. So all of those are.
So when I was looking at pricing, so when I was looking at pricing yesterday, I think the complication comes up at 256 GB.
Okay.
256 GB of the Air with Wi-Fi and cellular is the same as the iPad Pro. Not same, actually, the iPad Pro is cheaper by 100 dirhams, where it's the Pro at 256 GB without cellular.
Okay.
And that's where the difference comes in. If you're looking, and 256 GB is a pretty common number right now. Everyone looks at that storage amount.
That's true. Yeah,
and at that level is where there's no question you should be going Pro.
Gotcha.
But at 64 GB, you still have a price difference enough for people to be like, okay, that's a price difference.
That is something.
You know?
Okay, cool.
So, but yeah, on the overall, another nice device from them.
Yeah, well, thanks very much for the explainer. You really had me at purple. We don't need to go into this discussion, but you had me at purple.